Today, we're going to break down something we see every single day, but maybe don't really see. I'm talking about the price tag. What is really going on behind that little number? You know the feeling, right? You pick something up, you look at the price, and you think, really? Well, behind that price is an entire story. It's a journey that starts in a factory, crosses oceans, and sits in warehouses, all before it ever even gets to you. So come on, let's peel back those layers. And this is our map. It might look like just a boring list of expenses, but trust me, this is the secret story of a product's life. We're going to use this to follow the money, step by step. Okay, so every story has a beginning. And for a product, that story starts way before you ever see it on a shelf. It begins with the simple act of making it, and believe me, that's where the costs start adding up right away. So this is the one we all kind of get, right? The manufacturing cost. It's the raw stuff, the people actually putting it together, the machines humming along. This is the cost of taking an idea and making it into a real physical thing you can hold in your hands. It's square one. And then you got to put it in something. What's so interesting about the packaging is that it's doing two jobs at once. First, it has to be tough enough to protect the product on its very long trip. But it's also the product's outfit, you know? It's designed to look good and catch your eye in the store. So you're paying for both protection and marketing. And just like that, our product is made. It's sitting there, all boxed up on a factory floor. But here's the thing. Its journey and its costs have barely even started. Now, the real adventure begins. So now we get to the part I like to call the Great Migration. This is all about logistics, and logistics is just a fancy word for moving stuff from A to B. It sounds simple, but as you're about to see, every single move adds another little slice to that final price. And check this out. This shows you just how incredibly detailed these costs are. I mean, we're not even talking about the big ocean voyage yet. There is literally a separate charge just for the act of loading the boxes onto a truck. And then there's another charge for that truck to actually drive somewhere, maybe to a port that's hundreds of miles away. Right, so that's the local trip. But what happens when you need to go international? This is where things get way more complicated and way more expensive. And boom, here are the big ones. First, you've got freight and insurance. Freight is basically the ticket price for your product to get a spot on a giant container ship or a plane. And insurance? Well, a lot can go wrong on a trip across the world, so that's to cover your bases. Then, when it finally arrives, you hit customs. Think of that as the entry fee a country charges for letting goods come across its border. So you see, it's not just about fuel and paying a ship's captain. The price tag is also absorbing the cost of distance, of risk, and of navigating all those invisible lines on a map that we call borders. Okay, deep breaths. The product has made it across the ocean. It's officially in the country, but it's not in the store yet. We are now in what they call the last mile. And yep, you guessed it, it has its own unique set of costs. Now, this is a really fascinating idea. We always think that costs only happen when things are moving, right? A truck is driving, a ship is sailing. But that's not the whole story. Sometimes a product costs you money when it's just sitting there, doing absolutely nothing. And here's how. Warehousing charges. Just think of a warehouse as a giant hotel for products. And just like a hotel, it charges rent for the space. That rent, the cost of keeping the items safe, secure, and organized, gets baked right into that final price tag. And think about this. After traveling thousands of miles, getting bumped around on trucks and boats, you gotta make sure the product is still in one piece, right? So there's this crucial final checkup, the cost of inspection. It's the last line of defense to make sure what's going to the store is exactly what left the factory. All right, we have followed our product from the factory line all the way across the world, through a warehouse, and past one last quality check. So now it's time to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and see what that number on the tag is really telling us. So after all that, after tracing this long, complicated journey, what's the big idea here? What does this all add up to? It's this, right here. The price you pay is not just for the thing you're buying, not even close. You're actually paying for its entire life story, every single step it took to get from where it was made to where you are now. And there it is. The whole journey laid out for us. It's the making of it, the boxing, the loading, the trucking, the shipping, the insuring, the taxes, the storing, and the checking. Every single one of these things is hiding inside that one little price. At the end of the day, a price tag is kind of like a passport, stamped with every part of a huge global journey. It's the cost of a massive coordinated effort, all boiled down to a single number that you see at the checkout. So the next time you're out shopping and you pick something up, just take an extra second to look at that price. Because now you know the invisible story it's telling you, the story of one product's incredible trip around the world, just to end up in your hands.